The world's top EV maker, BYD, unveiling its ultra-luxury sports car overnight. The U9, sold under its Yangwang brand, comes with a hefty price tag of $233,000 in China. It is the latest offering from a car maker that's aimed to compete at every price point, a strategy that helped the company top Tesla last year as the largest EV maker in the world. I sat down with BYD's Executive Vice President and CEO of BYD America, Stella, to talk about the company's evolution and the key markets the firm is aiming to compete in outside of China.
I think every country besides the US we saw the trend is almost duplicate the story of China in the past 10 years. Like for example, in Brazil, BYD into Brazil 1.5 years ago. But then in the beginning of last year, the EV penetration in Brazil is less than 1%, it's 0.8%. But by the December of last year, the EV penetration is 5.7%. BYD is a big contributor there also. We went there, then we start become maybe the top 10, the number 10s, largest brand in Brazil, with only a electric car and the PHEV. So then this kind of story is happening in Thailand and also Israel and also other countries. So we see this kind of story, this kind of similar pattern is for the EV adoption, it starts with slow but not jump, and then we're fast growing in every other countries.
So you're saying you think BYD can compete in all those markets you just mentioned?
Yeah, for sure. Because the Chinese market is the most competitive market. If you are the winner in the most competitive market, why not? You cannot win in other market. It's just about the timing issue.
Can you keep the cost as low as you have in China as you expand abroad? Because that's been one of the big propositions, right, from BYD, is that you were able to offer a really, really cheap price point for those consumers who are looking to make the transition. Can you keep those costs low outside of China?
Yeah, but I need to correct your comment here. So BYD is not only offer affordable price, but we offer most advanced, innovative technology there.
So you're competing on innovation, not necessarily price point anymore. That's the evolution of BYD.
Exactly. So we almost everybody in our consumer recognize BYD is more like a technology company instead of a cheap car manufacturer. So we are a technology company. Plus the car design you see is very stylish and then very modern.
As you look abroad, I know BYD's been expanding its manufacturing footprint too. You've announced a factory in Hungary, one in Thailand.
Yeah, the Thailand one will start operation by end of June.
How long until you have a factory in Mexico?
We have manufacturing. We already officially start manufacturing, building the facility in Brazil. So we now have a team to invest in where the location to set up a Mexico manufacturer. So maybe by second half of this year, we can officially announce our plan to invest in Mexico.
So you'll make the announcement in the second half of this year?
In second half. But our target is we build a facility in the south or central region. Our target is to build this facility only mainly support Mexican market. It's not to build that Mexico. Is not to build that manufacturer to support US. We're not planning to come to US.
No plans to come to the US?
No.
Why not?
It's too complicated. It's an interesting market, but it's very complicated if you're talking about EV. I think the U.S. market is a little bit slowed down on electrification, and a lot of confusing, also very complicated. So we think, no, let's hold. We don't have plan to come to U.S.
The politics are complicated.
Everything is complicated. Politics complicated, charging infrastructure complicated, and then it's confused for consumer, and then they don't know which to choose. So then I think.
What do you mean when you say it's confusing for the consumer?
Here in US is you have too many confusing noise, speech from different politics. Then this can bring a lot of confusion to consumer and also to auto manufacturer. They're not eager to invest
You don't think they're eager to invest?
No, because I read the news, always see, oh, this company hold their investment on EV, that company holds their investment on the battery manufacturing. A lot of topic, we don't know what's happening. But in China, the message is strong. If you are not investing for electric car, you are out. You will die. You have no future.
So let me challenge you on that bit, because I think the White House would argue, yes, China has had a lot of success on EVs. We are trying to accelerate this adoption to going electric. You've got the Inflation Reduction Act that does put forward incentives. It does put forward subsidies as well. When you think about where China is right now, what, 35% roughly penetration, right, for EVs versus the US, which is at 7%. Is the Inflation Reduction Act enough to get it to that? Or do you see fundamental differences in the approach between the US and Chinese market in the government push?
Fundamentally different. In China, the government will push that like a policy, also will help for the policy. So as long as you produce in China, not produce in China, as long as you produce electric car, then consumer will get a benefit. It's like a give guideline. Then you boost a lot of company to compete. But the US policy with the IRA, actually, this is have a lot of restriction with the Chinese supplier here. And then this bring a lot of complexity to the current EV manufacturer. As you may know, for the battery technology, for a lot of technology, China supply chain is a key player. If you trace down all from the cell to the raw materials, China is 70% of the supply chain. But now for IRA, a little bit too complicated for any OEM to achieve that target.
So you're saying it's not an all-in approach?
It's not all-in. It's not all-in. They should be all-in, and then they should be open. Remember, why US is competitive strong? Because we are open market. We welcome everybody to come here to have free competition. And there is a capital market, right? But now it's become more protect market.
Let me ask you this, because you say that you have no interest in coming to the US. But as you know, given your growing presence in Mexico, there's a lot of American car companies that are taking note saying, BYD, Chinese car makers, are knocking at the door into US entry. And I want to read you a few things that we've heard from some leaders in the EV space. Elon Musk recently saying that Chinese automakers will pretty much demolish most other car companies without trade barriers. Those are his words. You heard the Stellantis CEO saying the Chinese offensive is the biggest risk that companies like Tesla and Stellantis face. And then you had Jim Farley from Ford recently saying if you can't compete fair and square with the Chinese around the world, then 20 to 30% of your revenue is going to be at risk because of the cost advantage. Do you agree with that assumption here, that if those trade barriers aren't in place, the Chinese can compete fair and square and actually win this market?
So I kind of have a different opinion. First, for example, BYD invest manufacturing in Mexico is mainly focused on Mexico market. So that's the reason we're not even consider any Lawson state. A lot of US brand, all their manufacturing are in the north because it's easy to cross the border. But for BYD, we are more looking for the place within 200 kilometers radius from the Mexico City. So we are more target for local market, So that's BYD strategy. We are not really planning to come to US. So then second, I think this is a similar story if you're thinking about the auto history, maybe 20, 30 years ago, when Japanese come to US, it's the same. Japanese are going to kill us, But in the end, still, we have a local brand. If they participate in competition, they will find a way out. They will be winner. Then any foreigner come from Japan, from Korean, they only share a portion of the business. So that's, I think, for electric car, they are a little bit overreact on a little bit too scared about the, a kind of Chinese competition. And but I think it's some kind of a game you need to either participate or you are behind, you will be out. So the solution doesn't matter.
What do you mean by that? You have to participate or you'll be out?
Yeah, it's like a protection.
You're talking about in the US market or you're talking about in general?
US market, and also some people only focus on US market, give up all other region. So like a lot of OEM brand here, if they don't participate the global competition to be better, they will be out. And the trade protection will not help you. I never believe like a trade protection will help any company. Yeah, because if you see who are the winner, is the company who really change to get all technology will be the final winner. Yeah.
That was BYD's Executive Vice President, Stella Lee. And you can catch our full conversation on our website, yahoofinance.com.